Are we alone? I often question this, but my answers always come back to a no. We are not alone. Whether or not this was a government experiment or an intelligent extraterrestrial visitation, it will make you wonder about Australia's largest UFO mass sighting. Hello and welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you don't know what's going on here, I am a horror artist and I like to draw what I talk about in the video. Now, nothing in the videos are meant to be insensitive to the victims or the victims' families, but I will be accountable for my art. But if you are a sensitive person, I recommend turning off right now. You have been warned, and I do not want to hear any whinging. And if you do watch this video and you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications, all that stuff that lets you know when I upload the next video. Even dislike the video, I couldn't care less because either way, you're still boosting my algorithm and I appreciate likes and dislikes. You are contributing to me getting further along in my journey. With that being said, let's get on with the video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about the Westall School UFO incident. This was a sighting in broad daylight witnessed by roughly 300 students and teachers in 1966. On the 6th of April 1966, just before Easter, in a small community called Westall, in the suburb Clayton South, 21 kilometres from Melbourne CBD in Victoria, Australia, the largest mass witnessed UFO sighting would take place. At about 11 AM in the morning, students and teachers were winding down for 2 weeks of Easter holidays. There was physical education going on in the school oval, which consisted of cricket, hockey and football. Everything seemed normal until a teacher named Jeanette Murr saw the object approaching the school oval completely silent. Then, the students' screams and panic kicked in. The UFO was basically hovering over the oval for several minutes, and as low as the tallest gum trees surrounding the area and the football posts, shimmering in a white/silver metallic shiny colour and looking like an upside down bowl. It was also described as being the size of 1 to 2 cars, and students thought it was going to land right in the oval. Some of the students started getting distraught as they weren't able to comprehend what was going on and what they were seeing. It appeared to be intelligently controlled, had no windows, no wings, no engine, no sound, no flashing lights like an aeroplane, no markings, no letters or numbers, nothing to explain what it might be. Apparently, it was not the only one in the sky either. So apparently there was actually maybe 2 seen on that day. So apparently the second one was higher in the sky. Some of the students ran to the nearby classrooms to alert the other students and teachers. It was also alleged that the UFO moved beyond the fence of the school and landed in a paddock not far from the school called the Grange. So a lot of students ran over to the fence trying to see where the UFO had landed. The UFO moved again across the sky, flickering on and off with its invisibility and changing shape and moving in such a fast way, ascending and descending in ways no earthbound craft could do. The day the UFO was spotted was a clear, nearly cloudless day. Then, the silence in the sky was broken by about 5 planes that seemed to be in pursuit of the UFO. The other odd thing too was that the aeroplanes did not act as usual. They were flying really low, in and out, and circled the airspace in which the UFO was located. The UFO then hovered back over the school and then all of a sudden just shot off. When the UFO shot off, it was described that the UFO flipped onto its side and then just shot away like a wheel. By this point now, over 300 students had witnessed this event from the school's oval and nearby classrooms. Witnesses state that they saw girls passed out on the ground, some in shock, some hysterical, and even an ambulance arrived to take some of the collapsed teens away. Apparently, one of the girls in the ambulance was never seen again and never returned to school. After the event, the school tried to go back to normal, but it was hard and the headmaster at the time and his staff tried their best. At the school assembly, the headmaster tried to tell the students that UFOs do not exist and they were not to speak of the event again. and definitely not speak to the media that was piling up out the front of the school. Witnesses from that day recall the principal standing beside several people wearing black and blue suits and were from the government. Some of the students, as young as 7, ended up having a close encounter with these quote-unquote men in black in the several hours following the incident. The news came out and said that it was nothing but a weather balloon. I'll tell you what, I am so fed up hearing this weather balloon excuse. A lot of the students were allegedly threatened too by the men in black to not say anything. Apparently a lot of people headed down to where the UFO had landed, and there was a crop circle that was made by the UFO, and a lot of parents of the students that witnessed it didn't believe them, even when faced with the crop circle. The Victorian Flying Saucer Research Society sent some investigators to take photos of the crop circle and take down some witness statements, but the society says now that over the years the photos and documentation has disappeared. To this day, over 50 years since it happened, the search still continues by some of the witnesses from that very day in the Oval because they just want answers of what they saw. All they want is for the government to be open and transparent about that day and what over 300 students saw. It still remains a mystery. Several theories have come forward about the UFO. One theory was that the Royal Australian Air Force, the RAAF, were running a test on one of the top secret aircrafts, but why would they do that in such a place above a school? Other theories suggest that it was testing the reaction of the public, which is what I reckon they do still to this very day. And I think a lot of UFOs are either from the government or holograms. I am actually a pretty big believer that they do from time to time over the years. I do believe that the government likes to test what our reactions to seeing these things in the sky and see if it causes mass panic, and whether or not that they come out and tell us that this is a thing, or if they delay it some more because of the public reaction. Another theory is that it's just a hoax, but what a pretty elaborate hoax for 1966 to pull off by someone. It doesn't matter how many theories get flung around, the object still remains a mystery, but one thing we can all agree on is that well over 300 students and teachers cannot be wrong. Apparently in 2014, some government documents were uncovered to shed a little bit of light on the situation. The documents reveal that a secret testing project called Highball, which was a large silver balloon that monitored atmospheric radiation levels and was fully equipped with sensors. It was then followed by aircraft to then trigger a parachute so it could drop down and land. I don't know. I smell forged documents that were conveniently found, but that's just my opinion once again. Balloons, when they come down, usually don't go back up again. I'm sorry. And balloons just don't, go back up and then take off at full tilt. As the witnesses, and it's all the witnesses say that. One of the teachers at the time, named Andrew Greenwood, who taught grade 9 science, said he thought the kids that came into the classroom that day were there to disrupt and were just delusional until he went outside and saw for himself. He said he saw a classic cigar-shaped craft with an antenna that stuck right up straight. He also said that the principal was so scared that he didn't come out of his office until the incident had stopped. He too threatened students not to say anything, but none of the students took him seriously until the men in black turned up, and students that were interviewed by them quickly turned cold and wouldn't talk about the incident anymore. 2 weeks after the incident, Greenwood was threatened by men in black at his home. He said he was warned not to say anything about that day. Greenwood told these men that he knew what he saw, but the men told him that he was drunk on the job and that they would report him to the education department and he would lose his job. But the kicker was, Greenwood was definitely not drunk that day. In the nearly 60 years since it's happened, there has never been an official investigation into it. They now have a UFO-themed park where the UFO landed that was built by the local council in 2013 at the Grange Reserve to celebrate the event. The Westall School incident isn't the only mass sighting of a UFO. On the 16th of September 1994, in Noir, Zimbabwe, in South Africa, roughly 69 students aged between 6 to 12 saw a silver craft land near their school, and the school was named Eraldo School, in a neighbouring field. At roughly 10 a.m, the kids were playing outside on a break when the UFO was spotted and landed. A few creatures dressed all in black approached some of the students and communicated with them telepathically, but frightened the absolute shit out of the younger children, causing them to cry and run off. But some of the older kids stuck around. Apparently the message that was relayed to the kids was an environmental message, and then the creatures got back in their craft and flew away. The message was about pollution shouldn't be happening, and something is going to happen if we keep playing with technology on the planet, and we shouldn't be getting too technological. The whole event lasted roughly 15 minutes. A lot of the students went on to tell their parents, but weren't believed, just like the Westall School incident. Some children thought that they saw an African folklore creature called a tekoloshi rather than an alien, describing the creatures as having large black eyes and very short. There is apparently photos that were taken of the landing gear imprints and the crop circles where the UFO landed. Days before the incident, there was reportedly high amounts of UFO sightings in the area. Now, this case really was a close encounter of the third kind. Both stories were actually mentioned in a documentary called The Phenomenon, which was directed by James Fox. So, if you want to go and check that documentary out, I will have a link down in the description below. One thing I do know is that UFO activity is becoming more and more in this day and age, and I personally believe if it's not the holograms that the government or whoever is projecting into the sky to scare us and do whatever they are, whatever their agenda is, I do believe that they are probably pretty upset with what's going on the planet, and I do believe that that they're not real happy with probably the elites doing what they're doing and trying to push us in a bug-eating 15-minute city society. Hopefully that these elites are going to be reprimanded, and maybe these said aliens might intervene and put us on a better path. I think we need it, because I don't think we're going to be able to get back on a good path by ourselves because of these pieces of shit that are in power at the moment. It's just my opinion. Let me know yours down in the description below. But the illustration that I decided to do for this video today, it's a little bit more detailed than I like to do. I don't like to do too much on backgrounds. I'm more of a subject, make the subject matter the focal point and have nothing else around it. But I sort of felt like this needed to be done. Have also like an oval sort of background with trees, and have a couple of the schoolgirls running around, one getting abducted by a UFO mentioned in the story, and one running away, well, two running away, and one collapsed on the ground, passed out with a little bit of blood on her face because she's hit the deck and probably smashed her nose open or something. And then you got the main chick who is trying to pull her eyes out and rip her eyes out because she does not know how to take what she is witnessing right now, and she's sort of collapsed onto the ground in the screaming fit type thing. So yeah, not too much detail on the background, and even for the girls I didn't do too much detail because I wanted the focal point to be on the main chick ripping her eyes out. The Westall uniform is a blue colour, so that's why I have done it the way that I have with the girls in this blue sort of uniform. It's not exactly the same, but I'm not going to do it exactly the same. Sometimes I think that these aliens like to hover around schools in these two cases, because I'm pretty sure there is more cases of this type of stuff out there, but I'm pretty sure, this is only my opinion, I reckon that they hover around schools to try and, because they're the youngest members of our society, try and tell them a message like they did in the Zimbabwe school incident with the Eraldo School there. They were able, because there was no intervention, like planes flying around to see what was going on. I believe that they were able to land and give those kids a message because they're our future and they can change the future. Obviously, with this particular one at Westall, they didn't get the chance because the planes intervened and they had to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would have landed and maybe have come out to see some of the kids and give them a message as well. That's just my opinion, like I said. You can definitely put your opinions down in below. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing, because I love getting people's opinions on these, what other people think, because there's a lot of stuff out there that I can miss. Like, sometimes I don't think of something, and then when someone brings it up, I'm like, oh, that's a good theory, you know. So that's why I like to get other people's opinions on stuff and what they think. I have personally had my own experience with a UFO. It's only a little minor one. I will get into that in the future. If you are interested, let me know, because I do have video footage of a couple of years ago that I have been sitting on, and I'm very curious to see what, you know, people's opinions are about this footage that I caught, because I think it's something in the sky. But I will leave that for another video. So that about wraps up the video. I am going to go now. I've actually been sick for a bit. I've got a bit of allergies or cold. I have no idea what it is. And like I said before, leave comments below. Let me know what you think about these stories that I have mentioned today. What do you think is going on? Do you think that these things are coming down to give kids messages, or do you just think it's a government experiment? Do you think they're testing us, our reactions at certain points in history? You know, let me know. Let me know. I want to know your thoughts. Dump your brain into my comment section, but don't write essays, because I don't read massive essays. If I see a comment that is an essay, I do not read it. So don't give me, you know, a 1,000,000-word essay. But anyway, I am out of here. Hopefully you watch what is left of this video to see how the illustration turned out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.